As an employer, you know accidents happen, even if you do everything in your power to prevent them. And although you may not be able to avoid an accident, what you can do is be prepared in case one occurs. Hi, my name's Mike, and I'm with Health Research Systems. We've been in the drug testing industry for over 29 years, and we're doing these short videos so employers can utilize them in a daily safety meeting or for training employees and supervisors about the company's drug-free workplace policy. And this is video number 11 in our training series, and today we're going to talk about post-accident drug testing protocols. As a DOT-regulated motor carrier, one of the most critical components of being prepared is understanding the post-accident drug and alcohol testing rules and regulations. Like, when is a driver required to take a drug and alcohol test after an accident? Many motor carriers believe that no matter what the circumstance is, a driver should take a drug test or an alcohol test after the accident. However, a post-accident test is only required in the following situations. Number one, when there is one or more human fatalities, and number two, when at least one individual requires medical attention away from the scene and this is a really important the driver receives a citation for a moving violation. Number three, when at least one vehicle incurs disabling damage so that it cannot be driven from the scene and the driver receives a citation for a moving violation. So in summary, aside from a fatality, the only time a driver should take a federal post-accident drug and alcohol test is if it is determined that he or she was at fault with a citation issued and there is a towaway or an individual is taken to the hospital. How long does a driver have to complete a post-accident test? Ideally, alcohol tests should be completed within 2 hours, but must not be conducted after 8. And if it's not completed within 2 hours, you have to document the reason for the delay. Drug tests should be completed as soon as possible, but must take place within 32 hours. Adhering to these timeframes is often a challenge in post-accident situations, especially when a driver is retained at the scene for several hours or an investigation must conclude before it's determined whether the driver was at fault. This means that the driver must remain available for testing until the specified timeframes have passed. Also, employers need to realize if testing wasn't completed, it's your responsibility to document the reason why. So what if officers on the scene administer a breathalyzer or DUI evaluation? Tests that officers administer on the scene are not conducted in accordance with federal DOT regs and therefore will not satisfy your post-accident requirements. Furthermore, due to HIPAA laws, most jurisdictions will not release any test or evaluation results to employers following an accident. Where can a driver go to complete post-accident testing? Well, here's my shameless plug. This is where having a third-party administrator like Health Research Systems can be useful. Not only do we offer 24-hour emergency assistance for post-accident situations, but we work with thousands of DOT-qualified collection sites all over the country. In addition, our emergency service staff can help you find a location to get that test performed. What kind of drugs does the DOT test for on a post-accident test? The first thing people assume is that a drug screen tests for everything. Well, it doesn't. Your blood pressure meds are not going to cause a positive test, or they think that it tests for certain health conditions. For example, the internet story of the guy who had a drug test and it showed he was pregnant because he used his wife's urine. Drug tests are very specific and only test for the drugs included in each panel selected. And in the case of the test that would be administered on a person with a commercial driver's license, who happened to be involved in that accident, that DOT test, which would be conducted at a certified lab, is a 5-panel drug test. Now, as of January 1st, 2018, the opiates category was renamed. It's called opioids now, and that 5-panel test consists of marijuana or THC, cocaine, amphetamines, opioids, and phencyclidine or PCP. So since 2018, the DOT has required confirmation testing for 14 drugs under this 5-panel test. So broken out, here's what the DOT testing looks like. Marijuana, cocaine, amphetamines, which has 4 classes, amphetamine, methamphetamine, MDMA, and MDA, and opioids, which has 7 classes, codeine, morphine, 6-AEM heroin, hydrocodone, hydromorphone, oxycodone, and oxymorphone. Some brand names for the semi-synthetic opioids include OxyContin, Percodan, Percocet, Vicodin, Lortab, Norco, and Dilaudid. And then there's phencyclidine or PCP, which now totals 14 tests for that particular screen. What does a positive or negative test mean? It means only one thing, that the donor was positive or negative only for the drugs tested for on that test. We've had a number of incidents where a driver was cited for a DUI because of failing a field sobriety test and showed negative on an alcohol breath test and negative on the DOT 5-panel drug test, but showed positive on a drug test run by law enforcement. Why? Because the local authorities ran a screen that covered many other drugs that could cause impairment, like benzodiazepines, barbiturates, methadone, Suboxone, and a vast number of other drugs that were most likely labeled "don't operate heavy machinery while taking these medications," as well as any number of other illicit drugs, all of which would cause impairment. So how do we solve these problems with regard to impaired drivers in your employment? Well, number one, we educate the drivers, letting them know that they are required to comply with the following rules, that if they are being treated by one or more than one physician, you must show that at least one of the treating doctors has been informed of all the prescribed and authorized medications and has determined that the use of the meds is consistent with the safe performance of your duties. Number two, some companies require additional screening in conjunction with the DOT drug test, which would include the collection of a second specimen that would be tested for an additional panel of drugs that could cause impairment. Well, that's our training for today, and we look forward to working with you to have a safer, more productive workplace. This is Mike with Health Research Systems, and we offer national drug testing programs and background checks to companies of all sizes. If you have any questions, you can email us at info@healthresearchsystems.com. Hit the like and subscribe button so you'll know when we release the next video in this training series, and thanks for watching.